Welcome back to Wedding Mayhem, your wedding channel for all things wedding. And I've got Paul Maxim, celebrant, back with me.
Hello.
It was so bad last time, you had to come back again.
I had to come back again. And it's fantastic being on the sofa with you.
You're on this side
it's this
now.
side,
You
yes.
come in as co-host with me.
Well, I looked at things. I thought, well, if I'm going to be the Graham Norton, I'm going to have to wear a loud shirt.
Well, we did have a wardrobe thing because you ran later, and I was saying to him, I don't know which dress to put on. What will you be wearing? Last time you had like a Hawaiian shirt on.
I
sure you had,
did,
like,
yeah.
And so, but I bought a backup dress just in case we clash.
Okay.
And then I thought, I'll go yellow flowers. You won't have yellow flowers.
I have one with yellow flowers, but fortunately, I'm not wearing it.
So what was your experience last time you came on?
I absolutely loved it.
Did you?
I loved
What
the
part?
experience. Well, all of it. I had great fun. It's an opportunity to talk about what the celebrant-led ceremony
because
is.
still people don't know.
And the audience that you've had, it's been fantastic. I've actually had referrals as a result of the podcast.
That's fantastic.
So,
well, that's what we're hoping to
worth
do.
it for me.
You got 78,000 views.
I am gobsmacked.
So am I.
Yeah, my daughter is
huge.
totally gobsmacked.
What was the reception from them?
She was. I told one story about her, and I might have made a mistake with which ice cream it was.
Oh,
so one thing that she pulled me up about.
Oh my
was,
goodness! What flavour was
the
it?
story. So I said it was a Magnum, whereas in fact it was a Twister or something like that.
You still got it wrong.
And I got that wrong, about something that was 20 odd years ago, pertinent to what we were talking about. But hey ho, that was the one thing.
But it's taking yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So this is, you're used to being on that side,
Yeah.
and suddenly coming in on this side. Was it quite daunting?
Very daunting. Yes, very daunting.
You're fine.
But I love being on this.
Yeah. And my husband actually watched your episode. He doesn't watch any of the others, but by the way, Jonathan.
I'm sure he'll watch this one.
But no, probably because you're on it. But your stories
guest.
about your mum being a carry-on actress and Dad doing the Morecambe and Wise scripts and that.
Yes.
And we actually watched that, and he went,
Did you?
Oh, he said, I can't watch it now because I know, the background story. What can you remind me what it was?
Yeah, it was the breakfast sketch.
That's
the breakfast sketch. So lots of people that listen to and watch this will be too young to remember, but way back in the 1970s, Morecambe and Wise were a very, very big double act. And it still gets a lot of views on YouTube. And the breakfast sketch is when the two guys were in their dressing gowns in the morning and they're in their kitchen making breakfast. And then the music, there's the radio's on with the news, and then the music starts up from the radio, and it's a guy called Eric Rose, and the music is the stripper. And then they just start dancing.
It's the striptease song, isn't it?
It's the striptease song.
Yeah.
Won't be cancelled because there's no... and Morecambe and Wise start dancing with elements of the kitchen. So pancakes, ringing around the rings of sausages and stuff.
But you walked into your parents actually recreating it.
I walked into my dad. I was at school at the time, about 15. I got home from school and this stripper music is blaring out at
you went, what have I walked myself into?
Volume, whatnot. And exactly. I didn't know. Oh my God, I should have come back later.
Parents are still doing it, yeah.
Should have come back later. But actually what was going on was total chaos because my dad was in the kitchen blocking out the routine. Yeah. And there was complete mess everywhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed in the kitchen. I wasn't allowed to turn down the music.
Who was swinging the sausages?
Who was swinging this? That was Eric.
No, was it your mum or your dad?
Oh no, my dad was swinging the sausages.
Yeah.
No, and then noting it down, and then and making a complete mess.
I love
there
it.
was flour everywhere, toast all over the place because he was trying to get the toast to pop.
Yeah. And you answered the phone to Paul McCartney.
I answered the phone to Paul. You've got a good memory.
I know. It was honestly, I was obsessed.
So that was a very brief. My dad used to have this screening thing, particularly when he was doing Morecambe and Wise, when the Christmas shows had bigger, more famous, well-known guests of the time. And the phone rang and my dad's next was repeat the number. Or repeat the name, I'm sorry.
So as you're talking, you have to say,
I have to,
it's
it's Joe Bloggs, and he'll make a decision as to whether he's in or not. And on this one particular, and I got used to it, as did my mum, So on this one particular occasion in October, a couple of months before the Walkham and Wise recording of the Christmas show, picks up the phone, he used to answer the phone at 538-5377, and who's speaking, please? And I got the answer, and I just hand over the lead to my dad. It's Paul McCartney.
Do you know what no one talks about when you start planning a wedding?
That things really can and do go wrong. Like when a supplier suddenly goes bust, or God forbid, when someone falls ill just before the big day.
Yeah, and that's why wedding insurance is so important. With Wedding Insure, you can help protect your wedding from the unexpected.
It covers all sorts of things, like cancellation and rearrangement if you or a loved one falls ill, financial failure of wedding suppliers, venue issues, even damage or theft of your wedding dress, rings or gifts.
And cover starts from as little as £38.99, with 10 tiers of cover from £6,000 to £100,000. So give yourself that extra peace of mind and head to weddingsure.co.uk and get your big day covered.
Not the most exciting part of wedding planning, but could be the best investment you make.
And as always, make sure you read the T's and C's.
And my dad said, I'll call him back.
I'll call him back. No way.
Yeah.
Anyway, this episode is not about
It's not about me.
Because you brought a mate.
I have brought a mate.
You have brought a mate.
And I've seen him in action, so to speak.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, matron.
But he's
very good.
I'm going to do something different now because his introduction is quite long because he's a very organised man. So I've got here our next guest fills a role most weddings desperately need, but most couples don't even realise exists until the pressure hits. With a background in the British Army, financial sector, and over 25 years as a member of the Magic Circle. He now works full-time as a professional magical host, a wedding host, owning the flow of the day, managing the room and quietly removing the stress so couples can actually enjoy their weddings. So welcome, I've got here the gentleman magician and magical wedding host, Liam Ball.
Hello.
That was such a mouthful. I do apologise. I mucked that up.
That sounded better than I thought it would.
Because I do ask, how would you like to be introduced?
Yes.
And suddenly there's this game going, and I went, oh my words! I can't even spell my own name, let alone anything else.
I thought you might just take it as some inspiration and just cherry pick from it, but no, that was great.
No, well, normally I would, but it's everything, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think so. It's a strange thing because I've got such a varied life history.
Yes.
And so many people say to me all the time, gosh, you've done so many things. You've been to so many places. You were in the army. It's not on there, but I served in the prison service.
What?
I'm a fully qualified chef.
Wow.
I worked in the financial services, in the insurance industry, in fact, for sort of a decade and a half.
You've had many lives.
Yes, many lives.
But I think, the army definitely is regimented. Everything's got to go to plan. Yeah. And the chef side and financial side is definitely put you in good stead for, being a host of a wedding.
Yeah, I think it was a while of doing various different things and not really finding not really understanding what my niche was until one day I think I had a conversation and somebody went, no, your niche isn't a thing. Your niche is people. You're great at being with people.
Right.
And I just thought, And then when I realised that, a lot of things in life became a lot more straightforward.
Okay. So we've got a lot to unpack.
Yes.
I love...
It's like a therapy session.
I know. We've just had one. I've just come straight off another show into this one. And we've got your fiancé here in watching us as well.
My favourite human.
I'm the second, apparently.
Today.
Today. Oh, God, okay. I've forgotten tomorrow. So obviously you're a magician.
Yes.
So where did this start?
So magic for me has been something I've always done. I often say it's part of my DNA. Being a magician isn't something I am, it's part of who I am.
Yeah.
And it started for me, I was about 8 or 9 years old. So I'm from a little city in the north called Stoke-on-Trent. I have a sister who lives in Rhyl. She still lives there today. And at weekends, my parents used to travel to Rhyl and we'd sometimes spend a weekend with my sister. And we went out one day to a market somewhere, I think it was in Llandudno. And I just remember being there, being really bored, walking around, looking at these stalls, you know, an 8-year-old kid in a group of adults. And in the distance, I just saw this magician, and I was like, whoa. And it was like in fact, I vividly remember him sort of reaching out and producing a coin out of nowhere.
What the hell? Nearly dropped me coffee. How did you do that?
Well, that's what I said. That's what it was like for me.
Did you see that?
I didn't see how he did it.
No.
I saw what happened.
I was
with my own eyes.
I think for me, I was mesmerised at how this guy was able to make this coin vanish and then reappear almost entirely at will. And I thought to myself, this is amazing. And he was selling this trick. It's not this one. This is something a little different. But he was selling this trick. And I said to my parents, can I have one of those? And my mum kind of looked at my dad, I think, and they went, sure. It was like £5 or something at the time. Sure, absolutely. So they bought it for me. And in hindsight, probably the biggest financial mistake of their lives. But yeah, it was a life-changing moment because I suddenly had this thing in my hands and I was like, wow.
It's gone again.
Yes, it does that.
I'm not going to concentrate on these questions.
That's all right. That's okay. Yeah. So it was just a thing, and I never stopped doing it. And I was fortunate in another way in that my father was a coach driver.
Right.
So I don't know if you know the geography of Stoke-on-Trent very much. It's right between Manchester and Birmingham.
Okay. Stoke-on-Trent is where Robbie Williams comes from.
Exactly where he comes from. That's right.
Is that what you know?
This is how I do my
That's how you
geography,
do your geography.
where anybody famous that I know lives.
That's right, yeah. So during the summer months, my dad used to drive coach loads of people to Blackpool and back 4 or 5 times a week.
Okay.
Now, my mum was a cleaner for the NHS. And I was a, 9, 10-year-old kid. I couldn't stay at home on my own. It wasn't the done thing in those days. I think it's not anymore, actually. And I had to go somewhere. And my mum was a cleaner. So that was boring.
Yeah.
So I was often on the coach of my dad going to Blackpool.
Right.
So I constantly had hundreds of people every week that were new. So I got lots of confidence in chatting to people.
You got the aisle doing magic tricks to
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, that did happen, but it came a bit later. We were walking down the promenade one day and I saw a shop in the distance called JB Magic.
Okay.
It was called Joke Box Magic. And I said to my dad, I wonder if that's a magic shop. And he said, let's go and have a look. And we walked in there and actually it was a fancy dress and joke shop. So I was a bit like, And this chap came out and said, can we help? And my dad said, he was kind of hoping it was a magic shop, really. And he said, I have got a little cabinet of magic over here if you want to see it. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was this little tiny, sort of 1.5 by 1.5 square glass case. And he showed me everything in there. And I think we bought a trick and we went away. But a month later, we were back there again. And he said, let's go to that shop again. But suddenly it was 2 glass cases.
Right.
And then it was a big glass case. And by the end of the year, it was
How much were you spending in this shop?
Well, indeed, yeah. But,
I have visions of, do you remember Mr. Ben?
I do remember Mr.
And
Ben.
the shopkeeper
Yes.
that used to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Mark's, the chap who owned it was a guy called Mark Mason, who over the years has turned into a wonderful friend of mine who I see annually.
Still around.
Yeah. So he still runs the same shop. And what happened is this joke shop that he ran with his wife turned into a magic shop, which then turned into the largest magic dealers in Europe.
Stop
Thanks to you.
Well, indeed, yes, quite possibly. And then he ended up closing that and moving to America and just running a brand where he didn't sell everything. He just sold his own stuff.
Right.
And now I think he's in Spain now, but he still does that.
Wow.
And then every year, in fact, it was a week ago in February, there's the world's largest magic convention in Blackpool. So
come round circle.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. So
And you were there?
I was there, and he's always there. So we always go along and say hello. And
So does he recognise you?
yeah, very much. I had about 10 years of not being there after leaving the army and various things, and it was probably was probably about a decade ago when I went back, but I changed dramatically at that point. I'd grown a beard. I hadn't had a beard before.
Well, not as an 8-year-old.
No, not very much. No. But of course, most of my adult life, I was clean shaven. And then one day I just thought, nah, and I threw my razor away and grew a beard and a moustache, and this happened.
Yes. How long does it take? Do you do this every morning?
Oh, it grows this way.
Does it?
No.
She's calling you out.
She is. I tell her that.
I wonder if you could magic it to go like that, up and down.
Probably.
It must take a lot of pruning.
It probably takes about 10 minutes.
Does it?
So, yeah, probably takes about 10 minutes. It's not as high maintenance. I mean, if it was, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. It's the truth. But, yeah. But no, I remember about a decade ago standing in this huge crowd of people around his stall. I mean, this is the kind of guy, I mean, he's a phenomenal magician. He's a phenomenal, so he could sell snow to an Eskimo. He's that kind of guy. And I remember him standing there and he was doing this thing and I was kind of watching on and I thought, I haven't seen him in 10, 15 years. He's not going to, he meets thousands of people every week. He's not going to remember me. And out of nowhere, he said, and we do this and we do that. And it's just like I said to him when he was in my shop as a kid 20 years ago. And I just went,
oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How did that make you feel?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if that was real or if he was, I don't know. But then when the crowd cleared, I kind of went and he said, hey, how you doing, Liam? How's it going? And I was like, wow.
Oh, my God, he knew your name.
Yeah,
oh,
just
God.
straight away.
That's incredible.
Yeah, fabulous. And he was probably unofficially one of my, in fact, not one of, he was my first ever magical mentor. So it got to a point when I was sort of, 13, 14. My dad had pulled the coach into a bus stop in Blackpool and I'd jump off and then he'd drive to a coach park and I'd run up the promenade, I'd go in the shop and I'd sit there all day.
Oh, wow.
And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And that's just something I've always done.
Oh, my God.
And did you carry it through when you were in the army and your other multiple?
Yeah, literally never stopped doing it. In fact...
How could you do it in the army?
Well, I mean, you get spare time.
Okay.
You get free time. You have sort of personal opportunities to do what have you.
Okay.
So I was... Certainly when I was in training in the army, so at the age of 17, I think it was, I was nearly 17 when I joined the army. And I was known almost immediately as the magician, the guy that can do the magic. And it's just always stuck with me. And there was probably a moment, I think I'd been in the army about 4 months. And I was in trouble for something, that much I remember. And I say that, it was probably something like not putting the crease in the right part of the shirt.
Okay.
You know, it was that kind of thing. And I was in the sergeant's mess, cleaning out the sergeant's mess, and there was a whole bunch of us, and we were kind of sat round having a tea break. And one of the guys said, "Oh, show us a trick." So I sort of pulled this thing out of my pocket, and I started doing it, and I'm kind of concentrating here, doing this. And as I look up, everybody else is sat there like this. And I was kind of like, uh-oh. So I then look around and I can't see anyone, at which point I go. And the regimental sergeant major is standing right over my shoulder,
crap.
looking down. And he looks at me and he says, "What's your name?" "Private Bull, sir."
I would have given somebody else's name.
"Do that again."
Oh.
"Yes, sir." And he sort of looked and he went, "What are you doing tonight, Private Bull?" I said, "I'm on show parade, sir." He said, "Not anymore, you're not. Report to the officers' mess at 1700 hours.
Oh, wow.
So you were the entertainment?
And that was it. And then I was the entertainment.
Fantastic.
And I ended up doing that every 3 or 4 months. And what was wonderful about it was that, of course, everybody there I knew. You know, they were all my sort of training sergeants and what have you. So I knew everybody, and they all knew me. But it was a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, they all wanted to have a great time, and there was.
Did you see them in a different light?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, there was still, of course, you know, an element of respect that was expected.
Yeah.
That was what we were trained for. But everybody was a little bit more jovial, and they were prepared to have more fun because that's what it was there for. Yeah. And it became a regular thing, and the wonderful thing for me was that I remember, you know, months and months and months of doing this, and people said to me one day, "The amount that you have improved over the last 6-8 months has just been outstanding. You know, you were great then, and I think back to that, and of course, what I now realise is that I was awful. But
but this is everything, isn't it? I'm on my third book at the moment, my children's book, and now I'm looking at book 1 and book 2, thinking I'm going to have to redo those because we do improve and everything. That's life.
But also, I think it's the thing that there's a stat out there that says 9 out of 10 people will never ever experience live magic. They might see it on TV, especially nowadays, or on YouTube, or, you know, but they'll never ever see or meet a magician in the flesh who does great magic for them right there. So that experience, even if it's subpar, as long as no obvious mistakes are made, can be mesmerisingly wonderful.
You're so right, actually, because I'm thinking, I mean, obviously, I've had a magician on, no, I've had 2 magicians here, but, you know, I've never seen it in real life. It's always on TV where you look, go, oh, it's the camera angle and stuff like that. But you're part of the Magic Circle.
Yes. Yeah, I joined the Magic Circle at the age of 18.
Can you just join it, or do you get invited?
I was going to ask that.
Oh, was you? Oh, God. You ask it. Go on.
How do you get into the Magic Circle?
Well, yeah.
Good question.
It's a great question. It actually is a really good question because the process, it's being evolved slightly at the moment, but essentially the core and the scalp of the process is the same. So the Magic Circle, like many members clubs, it's a private members club. That's essentially all it is. But it's a private members club with one specific niche, in that in order to be in the Magic Circle, you have to at least have an interest in the art or the performance or both of magic. And that may come from a lot of different aspects. But the first thing that you would need to do if you wanted to join the Magic Circle would be apply. And of course, it's 2026. They've made that super easy. So you go online and you fill in a form, and then you send it off. There's a whole process that happens behind the scenes. So when an application is received, it's sent to the Magic Circle Council once a month, and the list of names of new people who want to apply is there, and the council essentially get an opportunity to look over and make sure, you know, that there's no obvious reasons why people shouldn't be a member. And then when that's all agreed, the membership and the examination secretary interview you. So they might invite you to come into the Magic Circle for it's an informal interview, but they...
Do you have to do magic?
That's one of the questions they will ask you, Come on, show us a couple of tricks then.
What did you do for them?
What did I do? I remember...
Asking for a friend just because they want to go in.
I remember doing a trick with a packet of playing cards, where 4 aces appear and vanish. I mean, this was a long time ago now. I'm not as young as I look. So I don't rightly fully remember, but I certainly know that this is the kind of thing that I then did in my exam, because what then happens is the examination secretary writes a very short 1-paragraph report, and that is again sent to the council, and then they look at it and they go, oh yeah, so this looks fine. Let's allow that. And then the next thing that happens is you take an examination. Yes. And the exam takes place at the Magic Circle HQ, and there are other ways. It's in London, right next door to Euston train station, really. Yeah. So
I was going to say Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. It does feel a bit that way. It's a really, really wonderful place. When you step in, it is kind of like, wow, you wouldn't know it's there. But it's absolutely fantastic.
So is it decorated?
Yes.
Stuff like that?
Yeah. So the Magic Circle as a place, the Centre for the Magic Arts, is it's just off of Euston Road. As I say, now currently right next door to what will be Euston train station. It wasn't, but the building next door to has got knocked down, and it's now part of the HS2 lands. Right. So we're essentially,
it can magically appear somewhere else if need be.
Every once in a while, yes. Every once in a while, we do tend to move around. But yeah, so we actually own the building there. So we've got 4 floors above ground. The top 2 floors are a theatre, 160-something seat theatre.
Wow.
With a full stage and light and sound production.
So are they do they... Go on, you go.
So they do shows and...
Yes, that's right.
Members of the general public can go and watch a Magic Circle show.
Should we go?
Yes.
You definitely should. You definitely should. Well, I actually run a show at the Magic Circle called The Close-Up Show. Happens on Friday.
That's the one we'll be going to.
Yes, definitely. But there are shows that are happening now all week long. At weekends now, they have kid shows, they have matinee shows, they have evening shows, they've got stage shows. So there's such a wonderful, and of course at Christmas we run, I think, a 2-week plus program of Christmas shows that happen, twice a day.
Whole new world, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic, and it's one of my favourite places.
And are there rules of maintaining membership?
So yes. So like any club, we have rules.
Yeah.
Most of the rules are, functionary.
Right.
We expect you to behave, nicely and politely.
Yeah.
And in this instance, these rules say this and what have you. But also, we do have a core tenet, which is essentially that you should never disclose the secrets of magic. Not willfully.
Yeah.
And that means telling people how you did it.
That's right. Yeah. So if I did a trick now and then said, "Would you like to know how it's done? It's done like this."
Okay.
Then that would be somewhat frowned upon.
Okay.
Yes, I can imagine. In fact, about 20 years ago, there was a TV programme, something along those lines, I think.
Was there?
Yes.
So that would absolutely be frowned upon.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
But then
You
surely...
described it as the art of magic.
Yes.
Yeah. But
So-
surely you've got people that teach magic. So,
Yes.
So they are telling you how you do it.
So the one, because of course there has to be a mode by which people can learn magic if they want to.
Yeah.
And there are lots of ways of doing it now. So, I mean, some really easily accessible ways. There's lots of YouTube content out there. I would say as a knowing professional magician, the majority of YouTube content is basic to basic.
Yeah,
is basic. And probably the quality of that is subpar.
Yeah.
There are lots of magic shops in the UK. A lot of those are online. In London, there is now one, we call them brick and mortar magic shop. It's a physical place you can go to, International Magic, up on Clerkenwell Road. There used to be several, but there is now only one. Of course, magic shops online. Almost anybody can go to a local library and borrow a magic book because I think that every library has to have a section which includes magic books. Yeah. And the books that are in there, while, again, basic in content, are classic books, and you can actually learn a lot from them. And you can't go wrong learning from something like that to get going. But then when you have found that you've got more of a passing interest, then, you can join a local magic society, or you can hire a professional magician who will sit with you and teach you things. And the rule, for want of a better phrase, is I can't tell you how something works unless you want to learn it and I'm teaching you and you're paying me for it.
Right. Have you developed your own magic?
Yeah, I've got one or two tricks that I do which are more originally me.
Yeah.
Definitely with my thinking and handling. And I lecture to some magic societies as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I include in there are my own sort of unique presentations. And it'll be normal for me to purchase a prop of some kind. And if there's flexibility in how it could work or how it does work, to think, well, okay, the instructions say do it like this, but I think I'm going to do it this way. In order to overcome these issues that I foresee with a presentation, or to add these layers of impossibility or what have you. So there is definitely some handlings and choreography and presentations. I'd say probably in almost everything I do, which is all me.
Yeah.
I have created one or two minor effects, but most of the time they are things that I incorporate into larger routines. Yeah.
So I'm listening to everything that you're saying, and what it's telling me is that you know your stuff. And I'm just thinking about couples that are planning to book a magician for their wedding.
Yeah.
What are the things that we should be asking the person that we're thinking about bringing into our wedding? Because booking you, you teach it.
Yeah.
You belong to the Magic Circle, but there are people out there that are not.
Yes.
So what should we be looking out for? What are your top tips?
So the Magic Circle question is a really good one that comes up. There are a number of magicians that I know who are very good, who are not members of the Magic Circle. And they will, and quite rightly say, I don't need to be a member of the Magic Circle in order to be considered a good magician.
Okay.
And that's absolutely true.
Okay.
The one thing, however, that you can be certain of is that if somebody is a member of the Magic Circle, they've been judged by their peers to be of a certain...
Peer reviewed.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Because the exam process is literally you sit in the club room in front of an audience of 60 or 70 other magicians who've all come in for that very reason. They're all members of the Magic Circle. It's wonderful because they want you to succeed. Yeah. So you've got the best audience in the world who know exactly what you're doing every second of the performance, right? It's such a weird environment to be in. And 3 or 4 of those people will be examiners. So I'm also an examiner at the Magic Circle. I get called in to sit and sort of watch people, and then we'll go and sit in a dark room afterwards and talk about what they did and how they did it and all that sort of stuff. So there's so many things that go to it. So you could hire any magician who could be as equally fabulous as anybody in the Magic Circle. Yeah. But to a certain extent, you've got their word or the people who've given them reviews to take for it. And that's probably a better measure is, look at what people say about them. Yeah. But for me, I always think you need to book the right person for the right event. Sure. Okay. So I go out as the gentleman magician. That's half by accident.
Why the name?
So it's half by accident and half on purpose, really. So a decade ago, I didn't really have a tagline or a stage name or anything like that. But I'd stopped shaving, I grew a beard, and then I thought, I wonder if I could do a curly moustache, and I left it there, and then I grew it, and then I kind of focused on the kind of magic that I like. And at the same time, I was going through a transition of studying for a second exam in the Magic Circle, so you can take a higher level exam. Wow. Where it's the exact same examination because you put your own routine together and you present it, and they then essentially they decide on which level of this scale are you, right. And if you're at the highest echelon, I think, which is that they mark you out of 20 points, and if you score 18 or higher, they consider you to be in that upper group. So I was putting together a routine for that. I was breaking everything down, putting it together. So I went through this process of thinking, how do I want to present this to people? And I love the classical magicians of old. So people like, David Devant and what have you, who was the first president of the Magic Circle. But looking at the way that they dressed, looking at the presentations, looking at the scripts and the words that they used, and that all resonates very deeply with me. So I started to fashion my way around that. And I always found, of course, because, well, number one, I like to think I was brought up very, very well. But also I was in the army. So I have a core concept of what respect actually is and what it is to show people respect. And that all fed into this character that I have. And it just kind of happened one day. And I think there was a comment or a phrase, or somebody said something, and they said, "You are the gentleman magician," and I was like, "Oh, there might be something in that," and then it just stuck, and here I am, 10 years later, and I'm very happy with who I am and what I am and how I present myself. So, but on the flip side of that, of course, you'll also see street style magicians. Okay. Who'll be out there wearing not this, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's people out there right now. Take Dynamo as a classic example. Yeah. Very relaxed, very casual, could blend in with anybody and everybody on the street, but at the same time, he can whip out a pack of cards and absolutely blow your mind. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think there is a place for everybody and anybody in the world of magic. But I also think that weddings are something which requires the right person in the right place with the right image. And that falls down to the fact that people spend tens of thousands of pounds making their wedding days look absolutely beautiful and spectacular.
Their life savings, and sometimes not even their savings. Yeah. It's deposits from houses. That's right. Yeah. Just to get that right.
Second mortgages and all sorts. Yeah. And of course, I think when I show up in these people's videos or photos, I want to look like I'm there on purpose. Yeah. Not like I just walked in a pair of trainers and a pair of tracksuit bottoms and a t-shirt and a backwards baseball cap.
Unless you are Dynamo, of course.
Indeed. but I mean, as true as that is, I think even then, the juxtaposition of why is that guy dressed like that on this wedding?
Yeah.
It doesn't
Smart.
fit
Well,
into
weddings
one
are
frame.
Smart, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can imagine photographers out there thinking, I'm just going to crop that. So you've got this wonderful shot of people
put them
having
on
a
the
great
end.
time.
We'll get them out later. Yeah.
So you know, I mean, and I've even seen colleagues around the world, around the country, have like a social media photo where, you know, they're at weddings in like a t-shirt and a baseball cap, and there's this wonderfully dressed groom and this wonderfully dressed bride, and the caption is something like, "Who says I can't perform at weddings like this?"
Yes.
I comment, I do.
Yeah.
Go buy a suit.
I totally agree with you. You know, when I first came into the industry, you know, these shops are no longer here, but you know, the owners and the stylists were in slippers and trackies.
It's crazy.
And stuff like that. And you know, we are smartly dressed in my boutique, you know, because people judge you.
Yeah.
Instantly, and you know, I don't want my girls in short skirts because they're bending over and they're stretching. Excuse me. So I think if you can't dress yourself, then how can you dress
others?
Indeed. You know,
Exactly.
so I you know, the industries are very smart. You know, we're all getting dined up to the nines. So I do think it's important that image is
wholly, and as well, you know, magicians en masse are in the business of creating astonishing moments for people.
Yes.
And first impressions count. And the last thing you want somebody thinking for the first time they see you is, who are they and what are they doing here?
yeah.
Instead of going, they look really interesting.
Yeah. I want to know more. We want to talk about wedding hosts now. We've seen quite a lot of wedding hosts coming through into the industry. Can you tell us more about a wedding host?
Yeah. So for me, I used to be the magician that would get booked for a couple of hours at a wedding. I'd turn up with a deck of cards and a couple of coins and what have you.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of walk around and I'd do my thing and it's time for me now to leave. And I discovered pretty quickly that a lot of the time weddings don't work that way. So you have to be a bit more flexible. And then it was, this thing would happen. And I'd think, I could probably help with that. And then it was gone. Note for the future. And then I'd be at another wedding or something. I'd think, I'm going to go and help with that, because I was getting more confidence in myself. And of course I was understanding more about how things work. And then there was a time when I'd say to people, would you like me to announce you? And they'd say, oh yeah, that'd be great. And it just kind of happened. And then one day I met somebody at a wedding and they said, oh, can I have a card? And yes. And when I spoke to them, they said, oh, could you host our wedding? It was just before COVID. Wow. And I went, yeah, sure, absolutely. And I put the phone down and thought, right, I've got 2 years to figure out what to do. And then COVID happened and it gave me a prime opportunity to sit down and really figure out what I was doing. But in terms of what a wedding host does, in fact...
What's the difference between a wedding host and a toastmaster?
We talked about this.
I would say on the face of it, there's not a lot of difference. The toast, the host, the MC, the toastmaster will all fill a very similar function at very similar parts of a day, making announcements, giving directions, that kind of thing. Toastmasters, for the most part, usually are wearing sort of white tie and tails with a red coat.
Yeah.
And they will be a very traditional, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for, and that kind of thing. Whereas I think a more modern host is maybe a little bit more eclectic.
Yeah.
I speak to an audience like they're human beings from 2026, not 1926. I try to be more upbeat. I try to be more fun, and I try to incorporate different elements of that within the day.
Just following on from that, then, are you when you're a host hosting a wedding? Are you hosting as the gentleman magician as well, bringing elements of magic to? That's
right. Yeah. So very much so. So every performance that I give, for want of a better phrase, I am always in the public eye, the gentleman magician. So from the second I step out of my car until the second I get into it and drive down the road and go, I keep that thought process in place, because that's the experience that I want people to have. Yeah. And And then there's a lot of moments in the day where I might be making an announcement or asking people to move around. But in between those moments, there are huge gaps.
Yeah.
And in those gaps, I do magic. Yeah. That's right. So
Makes sense.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does.
It's a good connection. It's a unique selling point as well.
Yes.
There's a host and a magician.
There's a nice...
What is he doing now?
There we go.
There's a nice little thing that I can use to explain this, actually. So a lot of people think that a wedding day is streamlined. There's a beginning and there's an end and there's all the things in the middle that happen. But actually, people that work at weddings know that isn't the case. There's lots of parts of a day. So, for instance, the first part of the day, you'll have the getting ready, and then you'll get ready for the ceremony when the guests arrive. After the ceremony, you'll probably have photos and drinks. You want opportunities to socialise with people. You'll even have time for yourselves where you need to take yourself away. But at some point, there's going to be a big introduction to go into the wedding breakfast. And of course, you'll sit down and you'll want to spend time with family and friends. Food will be delivered. There'll be drinks. It'll be lovely. And then, of course, you're going to do things like cut the cake, have the first dance. There'll be an evening reception and more guests will arrive. And all of these other things will happen. And really, a wedding day is made up of all of these different little bits, all of these things that happen along the way. And a lot of the time, when there's nobody in control, you've got this piece and then this piece and then this piece and then this piece. And it feels like a lot of separate parts. And sometimes the gaps in between are bigger. And what a host does, and what I like to do as a magical host, is I take all of those different parts of the day and I try to make all of the ends join up. And I try to make sure that the whole day feels like it happened on purpose, with every point, every moment, every section being a larger part of the whole. But even at that, I think it has to be something which looks completely seamless all the way through. And that's where being a magical host really comes into itself.
How
do you do that? How fabulous is that?
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. How did you do that? You're obviously not going to tell me.
No, of course not.
That is incredible. And did that was, I was looking at the music. I think, whose phone's that? I was captivated.
Wonderful. That's really
I can't say anything.
Stunning. You're not supposed to be speechless on these kind of programs, are you?
Speechless. Oh my God, for the first time ever.
You've done it.
Jeez.
Yes.
That was incredible. And that's getting people's attention, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do people just stop?
That's right. Yeah. I've literally had people in moments of magic where I've stopped and I sometimes kind of take a little mental step back and I think, I can hear it.
Silence. Yeah, we did.
Because everybody's gone.
Leaning in.
It's a great way of stopping, chaos happening.
Yes.
If it's all kicking off, you just get your piece of thread out.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
There have been times when I've kind of walked into a situation where I think this needs something, and yeah, I'll sort of walk in as the magical wedding host and ladies and gentlemen, come this way, roll up, that kind of thing, and really sort of create a distraction.
It's great for the bride getting ready to calm that room down because that room is absolutely kicking off.
Yeah, I always check in with couples when they're getting ready immediately before the ceremony. And it's amazed me the number of times when I've been out to places and the bride's been at the end of the outside the room. She's ready to walk in and there's a whole procession of people and I say, "Are you okay?" Before she walks through the door, I kind of get behind, fluff the dress and sort of walk down the aisle. And somebody actually sort of came to me at the end of the day once and said, you've just been brilliant. And what I remember most is you being there with me before I walked in. And there was nobody else there.
Yeah.
And I think, You straightened my dress, you made my veil look good, you know, you checked everything.
And I think couples, especially brides will say to me, oh my God, I've got nobody. I said, don't worry, you've got suppliers.
Yeah.
And everybody, even if they're the catering, the chef, they will help you get you into your dress.
Absolutely.
Everybody will stop. Everybody stops for you.
Yeah.
And that's why picking the right suppliers is really, really important.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, I had one moment once when a bride sort of came out of getting ready. It was 5 minutes before the ceremony, and she went, how do I look? And as she did that, that little tiny fragile hook at the top of the zip on her dress snapped.
Oh.
Just went.
I know.
And of course it started peeling away at the sides, and she was like, oh, what am I going to do?
Are you doing this?
It was kind of like, right, zip it up and zip it up.
So just for anybody that is listening to this, so those little tiny hooks and eyes are for transportation of the dress getting from A to B. When you're having your fittings done, have more of an industrial hook and eye put on for you, because that's going to go through quite a lot.
Yeah.
And normally, if it's a good dress, those zips are lockable.
Yes.
You can actually lock them, like flies on your jeans.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can actually lock
Always
those
lockable.
zips.
I mean, this was some years ago now, but I remember thinking, what are we going to do? And I went, right.
You had
Not
some
a problem.
thread.
Well, I do, yeah. So I actually have with me, and it's a box. It's about this big. It's like one of those rolling makeup boxes. I call it my box of emergency. I've got everything in there. So I just popped it open. I pulled out a sewing kit, and I just went, right. Because, of course, in the army...
Yes, of course.
So, but more than that, my mum's job when I was a child was being a curtain maker. So I used to make curtains with her. So I could sew before I could do anything else in the world. So I just popped out this. I said, right, you hold that. And I remember saying to the bride, I'm going to stitch this up. Don't try and take the dress off at any time before the end of the day.
Yeah.
She went, why not?
I've
I said, 'Cause
stitched a
I'm
dress
sewing you
on a
into
girl.
it.
Yeah.
I'm sewing you. You won't be able to open it. I said, but at least it'll be fun when you go to bed.
I had when I
Rip it off.
When I
Memorable.
first started, I had a girl who got married in the hottest room of her house, box room, where all the heating, boiler and everything was. Everybody was in there doing the makeup.
Yeah.
And then I had a phone call, and she was literally crying on the phone, and we jumped in the car and went down. And her mum didn't do the hook and eye, didn't put the zip up slowly, literally went like that and took the zip off in her hand, the zipper. And luckily it was the last wedding of the day, and I literally stitched her into the dress. Got her up to the church and literally fluffed it and said, right, shoulders back.
Yeah.
And I felt the proudest I've felt of any bride before.
Yeah.
And we managed to get the seamstress over to the wedding venue and hide and go pss, pss, and get a new zip in it. But you do anything, wouldn't you?
And literally anything. I mean, I've stitched up, well, a wedding dress. I've had grooms turn up and they bent over and the trousers are split. So right, lads, get your trousers off, stitch up the trousers.
It's because they've lied about their measurements to the higher place. I used to do men's hire.
Yeah.
And always, the 38-inch waist was always a 48.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I've tied ties. I've folded pocket squares. I pin on flowers. Just anything and everything to make the day go. And that's how I see myself there. So I'm the person who is going to make all the announcements. I'm the person who is going to tell everybody where they need to go and what they need to do. And sometimes that's crucially important because, if Auntie Sue comes out and says, come on, folks, we need you inside, people will think, oh, it's only Auntie Sue. We don't need to pay any attention to her. Whereas if I go, folks, would you pop inside, please? They go, oh, gosh. He's in charge. We've got to do what he says. Yeah. And of course, I've got, I'm not a small guy, but I've got that.
But you're tall, and I think you've got that authority voice as well. You'd listen, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But I also consider myself as the person who is there to keep the atmosphere high, to entertain people, but also to fix any and every issue as it arises. Because it's much better that somebody comes to me and says, oh, this thing's happened. And I go, right, I've got a tool for that, or I'll come and sort that out, or I'll come and deal with that. And of course, I'm calm under pressure, and I can just deal with it. I had a wedding once where it was 5 minutes before the speeches. We were in a marquee outside. It was 5 minutes before the speeches. I have a sound system I bring with me for speeches anyway, and usually I play wedding breakfast music through it. And I suddenly stopped and thought, there's no music. Because they gave me a playlist. As the playlist ran out, and I went over and the playlist was still going, but all the power had gone off. And I kind of thought, what's going on? So I checked the fuse and I moved to a different plug, and I realised that all of the power they had outside had all gone off.
Wow.
So we ended up sprinting across the venue, getting 3 or 4 20-meter extension cables, running, daisy chaining them and plugging it back in again. And of course, you know, at the end of it, we said, "Gosh, this happened," and they went, "Oh, we didn't know."
Didn't know.
No.
Well, that, I mean, how brilliant is that?
And that's a good supplier.
Yeah,
Isn't that a good supplier?
And we on the day, we all work as a team.
Yeah, it is a team.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single person there is there with the sole intention of making sure that the wedding goes really well, that it's a brilliant day, that everybody gets what they want out of it, especially the couple, of course. And, I kind of find myself liaising with everybody and working with everybody, and, you know, saying to photographers, "Oh, I'm just going to go and do this now. Would you like to come and get some photo?" "Oh, yeah, that'd be great." And we're going to go and do that. And of course, you know, we're all talking about timings. And
So before the ring exchange in a wedding ceremony, you've never been tempted to disappear the best man's rings and then magically make them appear?
Never, ever.
Can you imagine? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I've just had a wicked thought, that was all.
Yeah.
But I know you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I have been to ceremonies where they've said we've got a secret ring bearer.
Okay.
So we've sellotaped the rings under a seat.
I love this.
Right.
So when everybody sits down and they say, "So somebody has the rings under their seat."
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't know it.
But they don't know.
They don't know.
At which point I said to them, "Which seat?" I went, "Oh no, it's a secret." I went, "No, really, which seat?" Because if that person doesn't look or can't be bothered or doesn't check or doesn't want it, everybody's looking and suddenly there's no rings, right?
Yeah.
Or they look and they go, "Oh, I don't know," or you know, it's really just as long as I know, because at least if I see them not looking, I can go, it's you. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Those I wouldn't say they're the tricks, but that's what gets things done.
Yeah.
Make sure that things run smoothly.
That's right.
And the bride and the groom aren't going to know that.
No.
Nobody else is going to know that except the one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these couples...
who's not going to let on because they don't want to be the person that...
The couples have all these good ideas because they've seen them on social media and stuff like that, but putting them into action is a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the most memorable thing that you have seen at a wedding that will stay with you?
There's a number of memorable things that I've seen at weddings, and not all of them for the right reasons.
Oh, right. Go on. Wait for this. Have a cake.
Yeah, I've seen so many things. I've seen bride and groom's families squaring up to each other, and you think, "I'm just going to go." You know, that has happened. I've had people screaming and complaining about the fact that they can't do their speech when they want to, and you kind of have to speak to them and say, "Listen, this is not your day."
Your day.
But in terms of like really wonderful things, so there was one particular wedding where this couple said, "Listen, we've got this music we want to walk into. We want it to be a really kind of special thing." And this was in advance of the day, and I said, "Yeah, absolutely no problem at all." And they sent me the music, and I always listen to it, and I thought, this is a bit heavy metal. And I kind of called them back and I said, "I'm just checking. This is the right track." And they went, yeah, that's the one. I said, "Okay, fine." So I turned up on the wedding day, and she was wearing a beautiful wedding dress, but it was black.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, that's lovely. And of course, she had all the hair and makeup to go with it. And then when I saw the room decorated, it was in a castle as well. So it was another thing again. And I thought, okay, I think I'm getting it. All the groomsmen turned up looking like vampire kings.
Okay, so it was a little bit goth.
Yes.
There was a gothic theme.
A little bit.
I've got a black wedding dress in my shop.
Yeah. They're becoming more and more popular. But I just remember seeing all these people coming in and thinking, wow, these people look amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And then when they got together, I was just like, there it is.
There it is.
Like, that's a picture perfect moment.
Because you can have all these ideas in your head that it's like, "Oh, I've seen it on this wedding, seen it on that wedding," and then try and put them together, and it can be a car crash. You know, nothing flows and nothing...
I remember talking to a couple, and it was a festival vibe wedding. Not a goth, but festival.
Yeah.
And the bride wanted to come into AC/DC, and I was praying it wasn't going to be Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
It was.
What was it?
Oh, no, I wish I hadn't told that story. 'Cause I thought that was the
You know what I'm
obvious
going to
question.
ask.
Something by AC/DC that wasn't Highway to Hell.
Okay.
Fabulous. But I mean, there's just been so many great things that have happened at weddings, and you're kind of there in the moment. I had one couple once, and the bride said to me, "I've got a surprise for my husband. Nobody knows, but it's going to happen here. And I just need you to go out and get everybody's attention to the door and then walk off. Okay, fine. So that's exactly what I did. And then peering around the corner I did this, of course, peering around the corner, I really looked, was the biggest wedding dress I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely huge. And this wonderful performer came out and singing It Should Have Been Me. Drag queen on the way out. Singing with a huge bouquet of flowers. Marvellous hair. Absolutely fabulous performance, finished by chasing the groom around the venue, beating him with a bouquet.
I love it.
Flowers going everywhere.
Because, going back to magic, doing something that people are not going to expect is just awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people will be talking about it forever. You don't need all the aesthetics by bringing what you do into their wedding and things like the drag queen. People are like, I've never seen that. I love it, And
I mean, entertainment is probably my favourite thing to see at a wedding.
It's the most underestimated thing.
It is. And when you think, I mean, I spoke to a bride at a wedding fair, I think about a year ago, and she stopped and she went, "Oh, you're a host." I said, "I'm a magical host." And she went, and I said, out of interest, what are you doing for entertainment on your wedding day? She looked at me and she said, "They're adults. They can entertain themselves."
Oh, my word.
And just walked off. And I kind of stood there going, oh, dear. oh, dear.
Yeah. And it's a 12-hour day. Yeah. It's a long day and you're going to lose people.
Yeah.
People get bored, and then they start thinking about things that they've got to do at home and stuff like that. Or they can go to the pub or somewhere for entertainment.
Or they'll sit down and start talking, and Uncle Peter might sit down and have a nap around the corner. And he's not there for the photos, and there are so many things. So I've always said to people, the entertainment is super important because after the food on the day, we
all want a nap after the food, don't we?
Also true, me too sometimes, but entertainment is there because you want to keep the energy high. You want those highlights when you want them, and of course close-up magic looks fabulous in photos and videos, so you'll always get this
and it's about making memories, isn't it?
Very much so
for everybody at the wedding.
It is the memories, it's what you're left with afterwards.
That's right.
What's your favourite trick to do at a wedding?
Gosh, my favourite trick at a wedding. So I do different tricks at different points in the day because some of them have different feelings and different moods and kind of have different flows. And at the early part of the day, I'm doing things that are really visual, that are quite fast paced, that you kind of have to a little bit pay attention to, but it's still lots of fun. What I really love is the end of the day. So when you've done the wedding breakfast, when you've had your cutting of your cake, your first dance, the party's going, and then you'll get the people who think to themselves, dancing isn't my thing. I'm just going to go and kind of sit at the back, or I'm going to sit outside in the nice warm evening air, and we're going to sit and chat. And those are the kind of groups that I like to then resonate, because everybody else is dancing, having a great time. I resonate to those people. But I find that because I've hosted the whole day, I've got more of an opportunity to sit and chat and be a little bit more sociable, while at the same time entertaining. And then I can do.
What's he doing?
Oh.
I'm feeling a bit scared.
I never know what's going
to.
Hold on to that for me. Don't open it though, because you'll ruin all the fun.
Okay.
Just hold it.
I just hold it.
Just hold it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Or can I hold it like that so people can see your name?
Absolutely. That'd be beautiful. We're going to make this very, very simple. So I want you to imagine that right here in the air, there's a deck of playing cards.
Yeah.
And there's 52 cards.
Okay.
And they're all there, and they're all in order, right?
Okay.
So all of the hearts, all of the clubs, all of the diamonds, all of the spades.
Yeah.
I'm going to split those into two piles, so red cards and black cards.
Okay.
And I want you to reach up and take down one pile, either the reds or the blacks.
Okay.
Which pile did you take?
Reds.
The reds, good. Reds is two suits, it's hearts and diamonds.
Yeah.
So you're going to hand one suit to me.
Okay.
Which one?
Diamond.
Diamonds. Diamonds are 13 cards. That's ace to 10 with the jack, queen, king. I'll get rid of the jack, the queen, and the king because that's the most confusing part. And with the 10 cards I've got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to take 5 of them and place them on the table. Were they the odd cards or the even cards?
They were the uneven cards.
The odd cards.
Odd cards, yes.
Fine. Odd cards
I had to make it complicated.
Yeah, indeed. Odd cards are ace, 3, 5, 7, and 9 of
Hearts.
The diamonds.
Diamonds.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, gave away the diamonds.
That's right, yeah. Ace 3, 5, 7, 9 of diamonds. We're going to thin the herd, pick up 2 of them.
Yeah.
Which 2?
Oh, do I tell you?
Yeah, it's your choice.
What, the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, the 2 and the 9.
No, sorry, the Ace 3, 5, 7, 9.
Oh, the ace?
Yeah.
And the 9.
The Ace and the 9.
Yeah.
So the 3, the 5 and the 7 are left. So we're going to pick up one more of those. Which one?
7.
The 7. This is now the most important decision you'll make. It's the 3 and the 5 of diamonds. Take one.
Yeah.
Which one?
5.
Okay, so the only one that's now left on the table is the 3.
Yeah.
Remember where we started, 52 cards, 52 possibilities.
Yeah.
You picked a colour. You picked a suit.
Yeah.
You picked 5 of those cards.
Yeah.
And then one at a time, we eliminated cards until the only one that was left was the 3 of diamonds.
Yeah.
And you made every choice.
Yeah.
And every decision.
Yeah.
And you can even watch that back. And this wasn't planned in advance.
No.
But the last card remaining was the 3 of diamonds.
Yeah. Stop.
Wow, how about that?
How?
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 How? If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand. That's
It's
it.
amazing
is
because that never
fantastic.
normally works.
That is incredible. I can't go. Look at that. Can you see it? Yeah.
Amazing.
Blimey. Right. Okay. He told us to shut up about 15 minutes ago.
Wow. Okay. Have we been going for that long?
Yeah, we've been going on a long time. That is incredible. What's next for you?
I think for me now, it's just kind of doubling down in terms of what I'm doing. So I'm constantly now on the lookout for brides and grooms that want to make their wedding day as seamless and as stress-free and as fabulous as they can, you know, with something that's modern, upbeat.
I feel safe with you.
Yeah.
If I put my money instead, like sort my wedding out, I feel that the day would just run so smoothly.
That's
important, isn't it?
yeah.
It is important. It will be magical.
Indeed, it would. Yes. Ding. Yeah, I think that's very much the kind of vibe that I go for. You know, people who know that they're going to be in safe hands, that when they say we want it to feel and look like this, that's exactly how it's going to go. But also somebody who can, you know, make little decisions behind the scenes where is needed, you know. And if it means we're gonna do this 30 minutes later, or I'm going to swap these 2 things around because of this. Because the truth is, of course, you'll make a plan, and a very finite plan on a wedding day.
Yeah.
And really, as long as the first thing happens, which is the wedding ceremony, and then all of the other things happen in the day in sort of the right order, and usually the exact right order at the exact right times, but every once in a while things come up. And really, people tend not to notice the changes because you can fill in if something pops up or goes wrong, or, you know.
Listen, this is such a large amount of money that they're spending, and half the time they've not even done a dinner party.
Yeah.
You know, so you know they get really lost and very frightened, and you know when you're scared and stuff like that, you make wrong decisions and snap decisions and panic decisions.
I often explain it to people as when you're organising a wedding day, you are suddenly the event manager for the biggest day of your life. Yeah. And if you've never run an event before, that's hard enough. But you're now the event manager for the event that's taking place on the biggest day of your life, at which you are the sole focus and centre. And you can't run an event from there.
No. It's so stressful.
Yeah.
You know,
And you're only going to do it once, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, yes.
Unless you're me.
I actually have some friends who have married each other 5 times.
No way.
Yeah. Every 10 years, they just organise a brand new wedding.
A new wedding, not just a vow renewal, a new wedding.
A whole new wedding day.
New
Yeah.
wedding.
And they have a different theme.
You want to send them
for
my
each one.
details?
Yes.
But we do have to round off. Before we go, what are you up to next?
I'm meeting lots of lovely couples
Yeah,
for weddings.
wedding
season
is fully on, mate.
It's fully on.
Yeah.
I've been attending some wedding fairs too.
Yeah.
And I've got a bunch of wedding scripts at various different stages as well. So bookings for 2026 are good, and 2027 2027's going?
Yes, I've done dresses 27, 28 last year,
wow.
so we're normally at the beginning, and now that, I think last year was a little bit, not dormant, but it was quieter, but this year's gone.
I was at a wedding fair about a month ago, and the couple had already been engaged for 3 or 4 years, and then they just started to go about their planning. So I said, when are you hoping to have the day and get married? And they said sometime in 2030.
2030.
Yes.
Wow.
And I said, wow.
But if you're planning children and stuff like that,
sure,
you want to be,
that's right.
Get your children sorted, and
every couple is unique.
Exactly.
And that's what makes their day a unique day. So whether it's 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. But I love it.
Into this camera, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Paul Maxon the Celebrant. You can find me on my website, which is Paul Maxon Celebrant. I'm always there for you. I'm on TikTok too.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok.
Much
to my daughter's chagrin.
Let's do some dancing.
Okay.
And into this camera, where can we find you?
You can find me online, www.yourmagicalweddinghost.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at Magical Wedding Host, or you can just search my name, Liam Ball, the Gentleman Magician, Magical Wedding Host, and you should find me reasonably easily.
Yeah, book him. Honestly, that is incredible.
He's magical.
And the threads, I'll never get over that.
You want to see one more really quick?
Go on, then.
Go on.
One more. Actually, where's your mobile phone?
I was saying, can we, boss? Go for it. He's not going to say no to you, is he?
I've got this little box here.
I'm just giving you my phone.
No. So I've got a little box here, and for the camera, a little box with a little hole in, and there's a little hole here as well that you can see all the way through. And I've also got a dice. And the dice is very important. Now, I'm going to take your phone. This is actually your phone.
It's new.
Brand new.
Brand
okay.
new.
Then we'll be very careful with it. I'm going to pop it here like this, just in the box. Now, when I close the lid, if I open it up, you can actually see your phone in the box there.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you can see the screensaver. And of course, if I put the dice on top, if you gently push on there, of course, because it's on the screen, but it won't go anywhere. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
Cool. Cup your hands like this for me. Let me just come right here.
I was going to say hold my hand, but he's got them now.
So there's the dice right here.
Yeah.
We're just going to very gently.
Stop.
See it go through?
Yes.
Go through
Always like giving birth.
Oh.
I think it survived.
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
It's like digital penetration.
Well.
Now, that's a different podcast altogether,
Indeed.
and it sounds like we've got a new show.
I've got the DVD.
Oh, God.
Oh, and the dice. Thanks very much. That's just...
Oh, nobody likes to show off, do we? Well, actually, we do. So make sure you follow these awesome people. Again, we hit 6 million views last night.
Amazing.
And I'm thank you. Stop. I'm still sort of pinching myself. It's weird. But that's down to you guys. Thank you for coming back week after week. We absolutely love you. Please do a little thumbs up. What's it called? Subscribe.
Subscribe,
like the post.
Share.
Share and a comment. A comment's really great because we know what you're liking, and any questions as well. We like those too. So we'll see you all again. Oh, and if you want a wedding dress, come and see me at Love Me Do Brides. I keep forgetting to say that. And we'll see you all again next week. Bye.
Bye.